That's beautiful. Thank you so much. I don't know what it is yet, you know. Once again, just a nondescript face that's come out of my imagination, looking a little bit expressionless. You know, I have sometimes the faces that I draw need a, you know, they could do with a little bit more emotion. Maybe in the eyebrows, maybe that's where I need to go there. But I do like this kind of ruffled feather situation. That's kind of nice. He is very gender, I agree. Well, I was thinking about making this person, like, as you can see, they have a bit of a bump. I was thinking maybe like a pregnant person. Look, I've been thinking a lot about abortion for reasons I'm sure many people will understand. I've just been thinking about it a lot. You know, on a global scale, not just the US, because you know, obviously the US is where all the stuff, you know, the big stuff is happening, I suppose. But you know, I've been looking at other places too. I don't know. It's just got me thinking. It's got me thinking. It's got me angry. It's got me feeling things. I was thinking about adding some text, like, you know, my body is not yours to control, or something. Doing like a little art piece that is somewhat about, yeah. I don't know. I've been thinking about it a lot, especially as someone, you know, like I'm not against the idea of, you know, I used to be very very kind of, I will never have kids. It's never going to happen to me. Never, never, never. You know, it's never going to happen. But I think that was very much motivated by my complicated relationship with my own parents. And like once I have kind of, you know, become my own person away from them and stuff, you know, I've realized that I'm not totally against the idea, right, of having kids one day. But the thing is like, if I don't, you know, especially as someone who has health issues, if I don't live somewhere where there is really good abortion, like really good protection for the person who's pregnant, and like a consideration for their life and their health, then I think I don't know. I don't know if I would have kids, and that's just really sad, right? Because like obviously when we think of abortion and like pro-choice and stuff, and we often think of people who end up with unwanted pregnancies who, you know, want to abort or something, or people who have once, you know, I don't know. I used to think of those people anyway. And I know that now when I think of pro-choice, I also think of all of the people that maybe want to have kids and want to be pregnant, but are afraid of being pregnant for X and Y reason, and therefore will only have, you know, even consider having kids, you know, considering the risk that it is, you know, these people will only have kids if they know that they, you know, exist in a space where, you know, their life will be prioritized if before the birth of the, you know, the kid or whatever. But yeah, it's got me thinking a lot about that kind of stuff, you know? Because like, you know, if I lived in the US right now, somewhere where it's just been like banned, I would just be like, right, well, no kids for me then, you know. I was maybe interested in giving it a shot, but obviously not. Obviously not, you know. I'm not going to give it a shot because I don't want to put my entire life at risk to have a kid. And, you know, I don't think that it's, you know, a direct goal of these laws and stuff, but I think, you know, it might be something that the people who are writing these laws have considered. Like, oh, but what about the people who are afraid to get pregnant without, you know, because they're disabled or whatever? Like, it's like, well, do those people even want disabled people to have kids? Like, maybe they're happy that. But I know that's not like the main reason. But it's like, it's just, disability while pregnant is very challenging. It needs a supportive environment. I mean, I have no idea because I've never been pregnant. But I mean, obviously, I've thought about it. And yeah, I wouldn't feel safe getting into that situation unless I was 100% sure that I had healthcare providers that were 100% on my side and would listen to me and perform the necessary procedures if my body was at risk, you know? And it's just so silly as well because, like, imagine all the people who want to get pregnant. They're going to try and get pregnant and they're not going to be able to, have a safe pregnancy. And, all these laws and stuff, it's going to put them off from trying again. So, potentially you are, well, I say you hypothetically, right? I'm talking about the people who are pro-life, which is just such like a misleading, it's just like such a misleading name for the movement or whatever. It shouldn't be allowed. Like, I think they should be called pro-birth. No, not pro-birth. Forced birth. I don't know. It's something a little bit more descriptive because honestly, they shouldn't be able to claim such a, pro-life. It's such an optically good name. Pro-life. I mean, who isn't pro-life? How is that movement being able to pick up that little name for themselves, eh? That's what I want to ask. Who said that was okay for them to falsely advertise to loads of people? Like, well, we're the pro-life movement, It gives them a one-up optically for people who have no idea what's going on. If you go up to them and say, okay, you pro-life or pro-choice? It's like, well, pro-life sounds more optimistic, doesn't it? I mean, pro-choice, when you think about it, is actually, obviously the more ethically interesting name there. But, I mean, they just shouldn't be allowed to call themselves that. That's what I think, anyway. It is absurd. It is absurd. It's the world is upside down. A lot of things in the world don't make sense to me because they don't make sense. I mean, honestly, they don't make sense. As an American, the pro-life movement here is absolutely motivated by making life as difficult as possible for anyone who can't afford competent healthcare. But how is that? I guess I'm still trying to understand because I know that the pro-life movement is very Christian. Is it Christian? It's very like, am I saying the right thing? Yes, I think it's Christian. I'm not really good at like religious subcategories in Christianity. But it just doesn't even make sense for me from the point of view of like Christianity and like the Bible. Like, I'm not saying I've read the Bible, but like, I'm pretty sure Jesus would be pretty pissed off at all of the antics that these people would be getting up to. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're going to screw over poor people and then you're going to try and screw them over even more. And now you're like, I mean, come on. But I mean, I guess that's just how it is, right? It doesn't always make sense. He would. Yeah, I agree. You were raised in it. I'm so sorry to hear that. Why didn't we get the pro-life label for being against people dying in poverty and war and etc.? Yeah, I know, right? I mean, how is it anti-life to be pro-choice because you want to save women's lives? You want to save women's lives. You want to save people who are pregnant's lives because not only women get pregnant. And you want to, you want to reassure them about how is it not pro-life to be like, oh, we want to make sure that your pregnancy is as safe as possible and you have access to abortion procedures if you need them, so that if something goes wrong, we can get you safe and healthy and you will be reassured. And the next time you want to get pregnant, you'll feel like you're safe to do so. And so you'll get freaking pregnant. And so we'll have more babies. Isn't that the whole reason they want the pro-life thing, is like more babies? Jesus was, the way that, I need to read the Bible right before I say anything, but the way that Jesus has been described to me, it sounds like he was communist. Just saying. Like a socialist. Not just about that, it's about bodily autonomy, more POC babies, more POC poverty. The answer is in this country is always racism. Yeah, sure. That's very true. It's very true. I mean, I've seen a lot of things. I've seen a lot of, theorized answers for why, but I suppose it's probably a little bit of everything, right? White supremacy, misogyny, capitalism trying to find its next generation of low-paid, desperate workers. Manipulation to the highest degree, anti-communist propaganda and general racist propaganda against poor people and such have made it so that these Christians don't advocate for things that would actually do Jesus' teachings. Yeah. I mean, I've been thinking about reading the Bible at some point, which sounds like a bit of a weird thing to like do, but like I feel like it's kind of one of the, it's kind of it's kind of an important book, right? You think it's very valuable to read the Bible. You did a whole lot of that, and it makes it so much easier to argue with them. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Ashwin. I was thinking about reading the Bible specifically. Yeah, specifically for arguments and for being able to quote things from it. Um, why not read other religious texts as well? Like I'm not necessarily, but it's just in the, especially with what's happening with the abortion stuff at the moment. Homelessness is often treated more as an issue for well-off white people, so they have to deal with having to gasp look at homeless people sometimes. Yeah, it's like it's such an individualist approach to the issue, which is obviously capitalism at work, right? It's like, how does this bother me? How does this bother my day? You know, and it's not. Yeah, it's nothing more than how does this bother me in my day? Christianity doesn't care about children. Hot take. Well, it certainly seems that way, doesn't it, Ashwin? It certainly freaking seems that way. I think Jesus would be very disappointed in all of the, you know, just saying. There's often no reasoning with them. Fascists don't care about being illogical. Well, that's interesting that you say that. I read an article the other day called "The Only Moral Abortion Is My Abortion," and it's an article on a website. It's about pro-lifers, like anti-abortion, forced birthers, anti-abortion advocates and stuff who get abortions, and how they reason to themselves that their abortion's fine. It's just all of these other sluts that shouldn't be getting abortions. It's a really good article. It really is. I would just recommend it to everyone. I mean, maybe we could read through it later. I've already read it, but I could read through it later. It's just really good. It's I mean, in some ways, it's quite disheartening because you realize just how detached from simple logic this kind of issue is, and so it is a little bit overwhelming because you're like, oh, so I can't just say things that make sense to you. Yeah, propaganda does that to you. Yeah, I mean, it's a lifelong thing that I ponder about. How good do I get through to people? How could I best get through to people who are seemingly impossible to get through to? You know.